DEP Deputy Commissioner retires. Delaware farmers get pollution lawsuit money. A new round of dairy ambassadors ready for summer. These are just some of the headlines this week. Welcome to CatskillsAir. I'm Jonas Finkel, in for Jessica Murphy this week with your latest local news. Joining me now is Matt Avitable, editor and publisher of the Mountain Eagle and Catskills Chronicle. Welcome, Matt. Let's get to the news. The Department of Environmental Protection Commissioner Paul Rush retires this week after 30 years of service. He met with the Delco Board of Supervisors last week. There was a lot to talk about concerning New York City's presence in Delaware County. Fill us in, Matt.
This is one of those stories that follows up on a lot of our reporting and a lot of what we've talked about on CatskillsAir. DEP has attempted to remodel its relationship with Delaware County. Paul Rush is retiring and had that meeting with Delaware County supervisors. He did receive a thank you from Supervisor and County Board Chair Tina Millay, who talked about the 30 years of partnership, and she said that she saw what she believed were solutions that made sense, despite uncertainty about the filtration avoidance determination, or FAD, negotiations between the county and New York City and the changing administration. Millay noted that these efforts have laid the groundwork for Delaware County to navigate these issues. In his speech, the deputy commissioner stated that he was committed to collaboration and dialogue between the city and the watershed. And there's hope that after years of potential cooperation and some conflict, that perhaps there's going to be good times or more negotiations between New York City and the area.
More than $1.3 million in grants are coming to the farmers in the Catskills. The Agricultural Environmental Innovation Grant Program is funded by the DEC and also by Attorney General Letitia James' 2023 settlement with Friesland Campina for repeatedly violating state and federal laws at its Delhi facility. The program directly reinvests half of the lawsuit funds back into the Catskills by giving 25 farms access to new technologies. With this grant, farmers will be able to save money, reduce waste, and protect the clean air, water, and land that we all depend on, said Attorney General James. For more information, check out the New York State Attorney's website. The 64th Annual Dairy Dinner was held last week. Delaware County Dairy Ambassador Lillian Eklund takes the lead role for a second year. And June is Dairy Month. What's ahead for her and her junior ambassadors?
Lillian Eklund and her cohort got great kudos for their work supporting the dairy industry at the May 29th Andy's Hotel hosted 64th Annual Dairy Dinner. We can see pictures of the team on the cover. The evening celebrated the outstanding young farm family, the Hager family of Bloomville, and there's a separate story in this week's paper. And Eklund recently completed her first year as the dairy ambassador and is excited for the opportunity to do so in a second one. She's currently a sophomore at Stanford Central School. She's active in 4-H, sports, student council, yearbook staff, and more. There's a whole list of dairy ambassadors from around the county that are going to be representing that important local agricultural industry and our local towns and villages in Delaware County.
About 200 people attended last week's Delaware County Democratic Committee annual fundraiser. What were the highlights, Matt?
We wound up with a headliner there, as we have Letitia James, who you just mentioned, speaking, the Attorney General of the state of New York. We also saw Robin Williams from our area honored for her constructive role on the Middletown Town Council. A variety of different speakers, Congressman Josh Riley. There were discussions about the election in November. This follows up on the Republican dinner from about a month ago, as the two parties are gearing up for a competitive election season this November.
A Cherry Valley man is running for the open state congressional seat in the Republican primary this month. Matt, you interviewed Alex Portelli.
Portelli is seeking that open seat. The New York 19 district will have a new member of Congress come January, and Portelli is challenging current state senator Peter Oberacker, who's running for the seat. Portelli said that he's running on a more libertarian-leaning platform. He desires less foreign aid. He seeks more restrictions or withdrawals from National Grid and similar utilities. He also seeks to dramatically cut spending at the federal level in hopes to balance the federal budget.
And everyone remember to get out to vote in the primaries on Tuesday, June 23rd. Davenport is holding a public meeting Tuesday about going from 3 assessors to just 1.
This is something that several other towns have done. This is not unusual, but it's up to the members of the town whether it is worth it. This Tuesday sees a public meeting at 6:30 p.m. to discuss any concerns that residents might have, as this shift from 3 to 1 assessor may wind up saving the town money. No one will actually lose their job of anyone who's currently employed. It won't be a big savings for the town right away, but ultimately when one of the 2 remaining assessors decide to retire, the clerk's job will not be filled, won't result in immediate big savings, but over time the town hopes to save quite a bit of money. It looks like the town might be able to do quite well with 1 assessor according to the release, but ultimately that remains to be seen and will be up to the voters and to the town board.
And women veterans are getting attention in Jefferson. What is the Warrior Women Retreat?
This is building upon a previous effort, as the AWIN Retreat Center in Jefferson, in partnership with Stanford Wellness, will present a free retreat, Warrior Women, a self-care retreat for female veterans. That is June 13th. There's going to be everything provided, including meals and snacks, workshops, supplies, open to all regional female veterans. Registrations are due on June 8th. Overnight accommodations can be arranged for individuals who want a full community weekend, and the goal is to serve as a starting point to build a community of female veterans in the area while also supporting their wellness and self-care practices.
And Delco is amping up its senior meals and also looking to fill several jobs.
This is a follow-up to something that we talked about before. Delaware County is continuing to work on transforming its meals program. We wound up seeing Delaware Opportunities ceasing their operation in May, and since May 8th, the Delaware County Office for the Aging has been working hard to find a way to get these meals to seniors. They announced several senior meal sites, including 97 Main Street in Delhi, in Hancock, the Walton Senior Dining Center, the Grand Gorge Senior Dining Center on Route 30, and the Margaretville Senior Meals Dining Center is open and located at the back of the Methodist Church on Church Street.
And Matt, the Stanford community came together last week to kick off their new library.
We've talked about this process for several months now, and it looks like some work is getting underway. Stanford Library had a community kickoff celebration, meeting at its site of its future library and inviting the public to come out. Wound up seeing this 139 West Main Street lot becoming the future library as construction hopefully will get underway.
Also coming to Stanford, the Summer Concert Series.
This follows a successful season last year as the Stanford Summer Concert Series Board of Musication plans a great schedule. There's a lot more in the paper, but ultimately the hope is that right there in Stanford, with Mount U in the background, there's going to be a series of concerts. Thursdays from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. from mid-June to early September. High Noon Times takes place at Stanford Veterans Memorial Park and features a rotating lineup. Much more in the paper.
Now on to the crime beat, Matt. A Walton man pled guilty in court to a DWI.
Mustafa Errol Toral, age 76 of Walton, pleaded guilty in the town of Walton Court on May 27th to 1 count of driving while intoxicated, which is an unclassified misdemeanor, and was sentenced to a 1-year conditional discharge. As part of his sentence, he's also required to attend a victim impact panel, impaired drivers program, and his license will be revoked for at least 6 weeks. This all stems from an incident last June.
And a Pine Hill woman took a guilty plea in Middletown Court for her DWI.
A guilty plea from Jane Rudy, age 68 of Pine Hill, pleaded guilty to operating a motor vehicle with a .08 blood alcohol level or higher. This happened May 28th as she pleaded guilty in the town of Middletown Court, but ultimately she was not sentenced. She has to attend an impact panel. The defendant will be sentenced at a later date, and this stems from an incident back in August of last year.
And now for the most egregious. A Sydney man pled guilty last month to a DWI and recently was sentenced to 11 months in jail. Jason Lester admitted that he had a few beers and was buzzed when he was pulled over in December. He He was stopped after speeding with an expired inspection sticker. Quite a few open, empty beer cans were on the car floor, and he refused a breath test. His license was pulled due to an earlier DWAI. On a different note, great headline, Matt, this transfer station is no town dump. Why was reporter Lorcan Otway surprised with this visit to Roxbury transfer?
This one's really neat. Lorcan did a nice job talking with Jeff Ormiston at the Roxbury transfer station. It's a dump, but it's not a dump. The transfer station ultimately is orderly. Jeff does a great job, and many people know his smiling face in Roxbury. And ultimately, Lorcan wrote in his article that if he had shown up not knowing what it was, he would have asked where the town dump was because this was so clean and orderly. This article includes more about how the transfer station works, a bit more about the local area and our garbage, and some other questions you may have on your mind.
And last weekend, the boys of summer came out swinging, as 3 vintage baseball clubs had games.
I'm going to be catching one of these games during the summer. I didn't get this last weekend, but ultimately we had 1864 rules across the region. Great photos as we saw a series of different games. Bovino wound up winning a pair, and every dairyman wound up with a hit in each game. Nevin, also known as Wagon Truman, led the way for Bovino with 8 hits on the day. There's a lot more, but make sure if you want to make it, June 7th, we'll wind up seeing Jay Kirk Day with 9 innings of 1895 rules baseball at Fleischman's Park versus the Albany River Frogs, and a lot more.
Wow, 8 hits on the day. Liz Page has a nice article on 2 young farmers who are carrying on the family tradition.
Our own Liz Page talked to Julian Hager, who was honored by the Stanford Kiwanis Club as Farmer of the Year. This family tradition wound up continuing as 2 of his grandsons were recognized as the Delaware County Outstanding Young Farm Family. We have a picture here of Adam and Trevor Hager as they received this award. This is a big honor as it winds up showing just how much effort the Hager family has put into local farming. Adam Hager joined the Navy, and Trevor wound up working briefly as a nearby equipment dealer. They both wound up working into management roles at the farm by around 2015, and by about 2020 became partners and wound up bringing their family farm from success to more success.
In Harpersfield, a mother and son were honored for their service to the Colonel Harper Grange.
There's a really cute photo in this week's paper as we see members of the Grange turning out to honor both Doris Smith, who's been recognized for 70 years, as well as Ken Smith for his 50 years of service at the Grange. Congratulations to both the Smiths.
And last week, CatskillsAir congratulated a young man who made Eagle Scout. Well, this week we have a Girl Scout with a gold project.
There's a really nice photo of Faith Sass, who worked through Troop 30206 to fill a need at the Andy Cemetery, completing her gold project. While doing so, she said that visitors were struggling to navigate the cemetery and find loved ones. And so after many, many hours of work, collaboration, research, late nights, she installed a map kiosk. She presented this work at the Andes Presbyterian Church on May 30th. The effort was well attended, and our own Mary Crisafulli covered this one. The kiosk is made of solid oak and located at the cemetery fountain. Sass had to put a lot of effort into this, including reviewing mapping software. But ultimately, it is something that taught her a lot and will help the community.
Sounds like a great project, Matt. Several Margaretville students took a trip to New York City. The paper has some nice photos of their visit to the Museum of Natural History, my personal favorite. Speaking of schools, there's a new school growing in Bovina Center. Matt?
And the Bovina Center Montessori School is looking for new students. There is going to be this great effort as the Montessori School expands, as we have another article by Lorcan Otway interviewing David Mady and Sophie Wallace Rasmussen. We have more about how this school works, photos from the school, and more about each of their background. If you want to know more about the Montessori School, there's a lot of detail in Lorcan's article this week.
And a new program opens for Tiny Tots in Hobart. Summertime, fun time.
The Little Flowers Arts Enrichment Center is launching that Summertime Fun Time program, which is intended to be an enriching seasonal experience for children ages 2 to 5 that blends creativity, discovery, and social connection. It's going to be running from July 1st to August 28th. The weekday morning program aims to provide more than just childcare. The hope is that there will be an advanced curriculum that nurtures the whole child and encourages artistic expression, curiosity, and more.
While we're on summer fun, the Delaware and Ulster Railroad is going to be rolling down the tracks next month.
This one's really neat. We've talked about the DNU and its success in the past and where it looks to go in the future. It will be up and running in 2016, and the first train rides of the season will be on July 4th. The hope is that it's going to build on last year's program and provide those scenic rides departing from Arkville, and they're going to go west this year to Halkettsville rather than east, and the new direction will allow for longer distance excursions, more sites, and there will be a number of changes to the program. There's a lot to look forward to.
Well, for more on these and other articles, pick up the Mountain Eagle or Catskills Chronicle. But Matt, before you go, give us a quick look at what your team is working on for next week.
There's going to be a continuation in our series about people running for state and federal offices. We have a couple of interviews lined up in the next couple of weeks. We're going to continue with our county coverage as Delaware County is going to be navigating its summer schedule. And we're going to have a series of new school votes as several local budgets have been rejected and require a second vote.
Well, thanks for keeping us all up to date, Matt. We'll see you next week. And now it's time to talk sports. Here's John with the latest on the high school baseball regional games.
It has been a record-shattering week for the Windham Warriors girls softball team. Behind their starting pitcher, Hannah Tuttle, the Windham Warriors have continued their undefeated season, winning their first ever Section 4 Class D championship, then advancing in New York State regional round to reach the New York State Class D Final Four. She's been sensational all season long, but Windham's Hannah Tuttle took her game a notch higher, tossing a no-hitter to lift the Warriors to their first ever Section 4 title, a 3-0 victory over Afton. Tuttle struck out 15 batters, with only 2 Crimson Warrior batters reaching base via walks. The Warriors then crushed Chapel Field 10-1 in the state regional round to advance to the Final Four. In other local softball action, a rare walk-off passed ball would be the difference when Deposit Hancock nipped Union Springs 3-2 to win their 6th consecutive Section 4 championship, some as Class D champs and some at the Class C level. DH is a state softball power who won state softball titles in 2022, 2023, and 2024, but last year fell in the state's Class C semifinals. DH nipped Falconer 3-1 in the regional round to return to the New York State Final Four. Gilboa Roxbury's Magical Boys baseball season came to a close in a New York State sub-regional round game, falling to Skenevis Charlotte Valley 6-4. Alan Osborne pitched 6 strong innings for Skenevis Charlotte Valley, fanning 10 while allowing just 3 hits. For the most part, you have 2 months, June and July, should you want to catch some Oneonta Outlaw baseball games. The Outlaws, who play their home games at historic Damaski Field in Oneonta, play in the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League. The 2026 Outlaws have a strong local footprint with players from Deposit, Cooperstown, Unetego, Hobart, Morris, Candor, and Oneonta. Blake Fortunato, who hails from Deposit, had a monster game to help the Oneonta Outlaws nip Boonville 6-4 in their 2026 opener. Fortunato slammed a 3rd-inning grand slam home run in an Outlaw 5-run inning. Fortunato plays for SUNY Brockport. Morris graduate Asa Dugan pitched 6.1 innings in relief to pick up the win on the hill. Braden Johnson, a Unitigo graduate, was the Outlaws' opening day starting pitcher. That's our sports report for this week.
Thanks, John, and way to go, teams. Soccer madness has begun. The first FIFA World Cup games gets underway next week. Soccer fans know the thrill of watching games with other fans. Now the excitement will be not only in the stadiums, but also in Arkville.
We're looking forward to entertaining folks to watch the games. In light of the fact that the tickets are so expensive to actually go to the World Cup, even though it's in the United States this year, we're hoping to have some great people and fans fans coming to see us.
We're going to screen some of the select games up until the finals, when we don't know who's going to be in the finals, but you'd have to check out our schedule on the website to see what games we will be having, because we can't show all of them. We have things to do and places to go, so we can't be open for all the games, but we're looking forward to seeing how many soccer fans we can come out and watch the games and cheer them on. Cheers!
Go teams,
go!
If you can't make Thursday afternoon's game, Mexico versus South Africa, there's Friday night, USA against Paraguay. And a whole lineup through the 2 weeks of matches. Sip some local suds and scream along with the action. Never been camping? Then you're missing some great outdoor fun. Sleeping under the stars, roasting marshmallows on an open fire, listening for scary noises in the dark. New York State kicks off its free First-Time Campers Weekend this summer. 2 campgrounds in the Catskills, Kenneth L. Wilson and Mongaup, will have sites available on a lottery basis in July and August. You don't need any equipment, it's all provided. Registered new campers will get a tent, sleeping bags, sleeping pads, camp chairs, a lantern, and even firewood. A camping ambassador will meet your party, help you set up, and give you a quick camping 101 lesson. To register, visit the DEC website. The Bovina 5K Run, Walk, and Kids Run is back. On Saturday, July 25th, lineup is at 9 a.m. at Creamery Field in Bovina Center. Proceeds support development and maintenance of the Bovina hiking trails. And now, let's see what Elizabeth has in arts and entertainment.
Hello everybody, welcome to this week's Focus on the Arts news spot. The first Stamford Summer Concert, the Summer in the Park, begins with a big jolt on June 11th. The high noon concerts will spotlight on new singers and songwriters, but it will kick off with Jim Kopp and Bobby Curious. The summer looks like it will be a wonderful bevy of incredible talented performers, singers, songwriters, and our Theodore Finkel and Pamela West Finkel will be there also this summer. Their incredible voices and talent included in the summer. Next, Art Up, Main Street, Margaretville. Women Under the Influence. Beth Casper, Amy Masters, an incredible group of talented women artists. It begins June 5th with a reception on the 5th, but it runs to the 28th of June, so you have plenty of time to get in there and check out the amazing work and that this group of talented artists and artisans have done. Next, Gilboa Museum. Gilboa Museum is a wonderful place not only to check out the Devonian fossils, which I have some myself. Some of the oldest stone on the planet is in Gilboa. And their museum also has amazing events. Readers, writers, poets, and artists. So they're going to be having a show called Worth 1,000 Words. A narrative piece of art that tells a story, which most people, when they do art, there's a story behind the image, and even if the viewer cannot understand or see it, there's a story there. Gilboa Museum is 122 Stryker Road. It'll run from June 27th to July 26th, with the reception on the 27th from 4:30 to 6:30. So thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
Thanks, Elizabeth. The Stamford Fire Department hosts its annual Flag Day Parade Sunday, June 14th. Grand Marshal is Roxbury Constable Steve Williamson. There will be hot dogs, hamburgers, floats, bands, fire trucks, games, music, and more. Details are in this week's Mountain Eagle. Seems as if summer may be here at last. Let's see what weather is coming up this week.
Good day, Catskill Mountain friends and neighbors. It's Lori with CatskillsAir, bringing you your weekly weather update for the beautiful, pristine, still highly wacky and unpredictable weather Catskill Mountain region. And boy, oh boy, if you were in the Catskills this past weekend, it wasn't a complete washout, but those storms were ridiculous. And it looks like for the week ahead, those temperatures are going to start to rise and we could see some scattered showers throughout the week. However, they're much needed. So let's give it a go and check out what's happening in the Catskill High Peaks for this week in weather. On Monday, we can expect mostly sunny skies with temperatures on the rise to the mid-70s, winds lightly blowing out of the northeast at 5 to 10. Overnight, we have clear skies. Temps are going to dip back to the upper 40s, 50 in some areas, winds light and variable. On Tuesday, we have abundant sunshine for all. Temperatures are going to continue to rise to the low 80s, winds lightly blowing out of the west-southwest at 5 to 10. Overnight, we have partly cloudy skies with temperatures only dipping back to the low 60s, upper 50s in some areas of the Cats, winds lightly blowing out of the south-southwest at 5 to 10. On Wednesday, we have mostly to partly cloudy skies early, followed by scattered afternoon thunderstorms. Temperatures are going to be in the low 80s with winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10. And overnight, we have isolated thunderstorms and isolated showers with temps dipping back to the low 60s, winds lightly blowing out of the southwest at 5 to 10. On Thursday, we have a few showers and then isolated afternoon showers and thunderstorms. It's going to be hot and humid with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s with winds out of the west at 5 to 10. Overnight, we have lots of cloud cover with those temps only dipping back to the mid 60s, winds light and variable. And on Friday, we have a mix of sun and clouds, hot and humid feel to the air. Temps are going to be in the upper 80s, winds out of the west at 5 to 10. And overnight, we have partly cloudy skies with temperatures dipping back to the mid-60s, winds light and variable. As I bid you farewell, remember that weather and temperature changes on a dime, especially in the beautiful Cats. Be sure to join me for your weekend weather update, because I hope we're going to change that trend of the cool down. So see you then from somewhere in the Cats.
That's it for CatskillsAir News. If you see something, let us know. I'm Jonas Finkel. Jess will be back next week. Bye for now.